Засідання комісії після
We
оголошення
shall
перерви
continue the session after the break.
розпочинається. Прошу запросити до зали засідань кандидата
Please invite the candidate to the position of the judge at the Hague Court, Makhno Nataliia Volodymyrivna.
Добрий день, пані Наталя.
Good afternoon, Natalia.
Розглядається питання щодо відповідності
Today we're considering the issue of the candidate to the position of the judge of the Hague Court compliance, Makhno Nataliia Volodymyrivna, under the law of the judges of the Hague Court. The PCIe members are present. Names follow.
дистанційно, Джон Саліван, Джесіка Лот Томпсон дистанційно. Члени Вищої кваліфікаційної
The
комісії
HQCJ members are also present. Names follow.
Роман Кидасюк, Надія Кобецька відведена від даного питання, тому не буде брати участь у засіданні.
Надія Кобецька announced her recusal from this case.
Олексій Омелян, Роман Сабудаш, Руслан Сидорович приєднається до нас. Сергій Чумак.
Ruslan Sidorovich will join us shortly. Is the composition of the commission clear to you? Yes, it is clear.
Чи вам відомі права, чи потрібно вам
Are you aware of your rights in this session? You have a memo in front of you. I don't want you to explain me my rights to me. No new materials are being considered in this session. The candidate has provided the materials within the required deadline. In case there are circumstances that can significantly affect the candidate's status, then with the consent of at least 3 members of the commission, new materials can be added to the commission's consideration. Do you have any recusals or no, or motions? No motions, no recusals. And we can switch to the interview. The rapporteur is HQCJ member Bohonis. Thank you. Good afternoon, Natalia. So, a report about your profile, and please listen attentively. You will be able to add some facts after.
Makhno
Nataliia Volodymyrivna is running in a competition to become a judge of the Hague Court based on the law of the Hague Court. She has at least 5 years of professional experience as a judge. Regarding the candidate's qualifications, in 2006, she graduated from Vasil Stefanik Prikarpathian National University. She earned her degree in law. In 2011, she graduated from Yaroslav Mudry National Law University, where she earned her master's degree in law. In 2022, the candidate earned as an academic degree, PhD in law from Yaroslav Mudry National Law University. The title of the thesis, Legal Regime of Water Bodies Classified as Balneological. And these are the materials of the dossier. Professional experience documents proving professional experience are missing. Then professional experience in legal activities. By the time she applied to the current competition, her professional experience was over 17 years. from December 2006 to
серпень 2010 року кандидат працювала
to August
апараті Івано-Франківського міського
2010.
Івано-Франківської області, зокрема, була
She worked
кухаркою
at
суду,
Ivano-Frankivsk City Court.
суду.
She was a court typist, assistant judge, and court clerk.
2013 року працювала
From
помічником судді
2011 to 2013, she worked as assistant judge at the Appellate Court of Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast. And by presidential decree of October 2013, Natalia was appointed at the position of a judge at Leninsky District Court of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea for 5 years. However, by the presidential decree of April 2014, she was transferred within her term to the position of the judge of the Kolomia City District Court of Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast, where she works until present. The candidate speaks Ukrainian fluently. The commission initiated a check of the candidate's profile. Inquiries have been sent to different state bodies. Answers have been received. And these facts will be considered in today's session. Thank you for your attention. In case you have any objections or contributions, you can make them now. I have none. Then over to the to Madam Chair. Over to the chair, PCIe Chair Robert Brunkhuizen, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. Your rapporteur is John O'Sullivan, sitting next to me.
Good afternoon, Natalia. I'd like to introduce the other members of the panel before we get started. To my right is Robert. Robert is our chairperson, and he's a lawyer from the Netherlands. And sitting next to him is Norman. Norman is a lawyer from Estonia. And up on the screen to your right there, on the right side, is Jessica, who's a lawyer in Canada. And on the left side there is Mary, who is a prosecutor with the Department of Justice in the United States. We have a limited amount of time today, so I'd like you to be as concise as possible with your answers, okay?
Добре, дякую.
Okay, thank you.
So as I understand it, you've been a judge since 2013. What during your 13 years the judge has prepared you to become a hack judge?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for this question.
Дійсно, я діючий суддя, працюю
Yes, indeed, I'm
2013 року.
acting as a judge, and I have acted as a judge since 2013
місцевому суді, міськрайонному
in a local court,
і розглядаю
city
всі
district
категорії
court,
справ, які
and
віднесені
I'm
до підсудності даного суду.
considering different types of cases under the jurisdiction of this court.
Кримінальні провадження.
Criminal cases, civil cases. We also have a panel of judges, and some cases are considered by this panel of judges. And I decided to take this opportunity to run in this competition. And until now, I have been successful. Thank you.
I want to ask you a few questions about your finances and some other things. The first topic I'd like to talk to you about is a home that's owned by your mother. That I understand the land was purchased sometime between 1995 and 97, and then a home was built on the land. Is that correct?
Так, все вірно.
Yes, this is correct.
And we've had a look at your parents' income prior to that time, and it was rather minimal. your father from 1998 until his death in 2016 had 1,694 hryvnias reported as total income, and your mother from 1998 to last year had a total of 18,093 hryvnias. First, let me ask you, you had indicated in response to questions that your father died in France.
Так, вірно.
Yes,
And
correct.
what was he doing in France?
Він там працював.
He worked there.
Did he have income while he was working in France?
Так, офіційно працював.
Yes, he did. He was officially employed.
What was his job and what was his income, approximate annual income?
Це робота робітником.
So he worked as
Приблизний дохід.
a worker,
Десь
and his
приблизно
approximate income is
дві, можливо, може менше,
1,000, maybe 2,000, maybe less,
приблизно так.
approximately like this.
Євро. Можливо,
In
2
euro.
тисячі.
1,000, around 1,000 euro
Per month or per what?
На місяць. Останній, коли
per month.
перед
So the last time he died in 2017, and then officially, just literally,
поїхав і працював офіційно в
uh,
Франції.
he went to France to work there. Not long before his
В
death,
інших країнах працював.
but also he worked in other countries.
And did your mother remain here in Ukraine while your father was working outside of the country?
Так, так.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so let's go back to the house. So you provided us a copy of the certificate of the house, but it doesn't contain the area of the house that at the time that it was built. What was the area of the house in 2000? Approximately.
Це будинок побудований ще
This is a
біля
house
30 років
constructed
тому. Я
about
тоді
30 years
вчилася
ago.
в школі.
And back then, I went to school.
Дійсно придбали земельну ділянку от біля
So
30
my
років
parents
тому, бо мої
purchased a
батьки
land plot
придбали
about
земельну
30 years
ділянку.
ago.
І з часом, як
And with
відповідно
time,
документи, і як
they
змогли, так і
registered it
будували
properly.
будинок.
And then,
Коли
as they could,
побудований,
they
отримали
would build
свідоцтво
the house.
власності
And
на
after
будинок.
they finished, they received the ownership certificate.
Будівництво способом
That
фактично
the construction was made with their own resources, and whenever they had time, they invested it in construction. And it happened about 30 years ago, and I went to school back then. My father worked in Ukraine back then, and my mom worked at a factory. My father was an engineer, and my mother was an operator.
And the house is now a two-story house, is that correct?
Так.
When
Yes,
it was
it
originally
is.
built, was it a two-story house?
Ті всі документи,
All those documents related to the house, I submitted them to the commission, and when it was put into operation, the square meters were registered, and it is stated in the documents.
What was the square meters when it was originally built?
Так як зараз є 140.
Just like now, 140 square meters, about 140 square meters.
And since the house was built, have you done any, or your family done any renovations or reconstruction?
Ремонт косметичний всередині.
Well, maybe
всередині будинку.
cosmetical repairs, light repairs inside the house.
Like about how much money would have been spent on that?
От як батько вже працював у Франції,
So when my father worked in France,
вже можна було косметичні зробити.
we were able to do light repairs. We could use his salary on these repairs.
Approximately how much was spent on repairs or renovations?
Це моїх мами і матері і
These
батька
were
витрачалися.
money of my parents, my father and my mother. So
Вони
I,
витрачали, скільки заробляли, то й
well,
фактично і
they
витрачали.
basically spent everything they earned
Потрібно там
because something had to be done all the time, the fence or other things. So they were spending everything they earned for construction.
Do you know how much that was or no?
Та сума все, яка і заробили, фактично і
What
витратили.
they earned was spent on the house, everything they
В
earned,
офіційних документах.
No.
according
I'm
to
asking
official
you-
documents.
What I'm asking you is what was the total amount of money that was spent? Not if it was everything they earned, but what was the total amount of money that they spent on the renovations and reconstruction? If you know.
Ні, не знаю.
No, I do not know.
Okay, and your mother lives there now? By herself?
Так, мати проживає.
Yes, that's right. She lives there.
And you live in another home that's also owned by your family?
Так,
Yes.
You live there with your son?
так. Чоловік, син.
Yes, my husband, my son, and I.
And that's approximately 57 square meters home?
Вірно, 56,9.
Right. 56.9.
Do you ever live in your mother's house, in the large house, the 140 meters house?
Так, проживала.
Yes, I did.
Коли
Lived there
збудований, і
when it was built,
проживала до 2015
and I lived
року.
there till 2015.
All right. Let's move on to a 2008 Hyundai Accent that you purchased in 2017. Do you recall that?
Так,
Yes.
And you paid approximately 48,000 hryvnias. Is that correct?
48 744.
48,744.
And we've done some research on that. At the time that you bought that car in 2017, similar cars were selling for 3 to 4 times as much money, for approximately 190,000 hryvnias. Can you tell me why you were able to purchase this car at such a bargain price?
ціна була на день набуття.
It was the price at the day of purchase of that vehicle. According to the sales and purchase agreement, it was signed in the service center. The vehicle required repairs, and I did the repairs several times.
Did you buy it from an individual or from a dealer?
Від приватної особи.
From an individual.
And where did you get the money from to purchase the vehicle?
Кошти отримала, це моя заробітна плата.
The money were from my salary.
Was it some of it from savings?
Так, це від заробітної плати.
Yes, this savings from my salary.
Okay, because in 2016, at the end of 2016, before buying the car, you declared that you had 90,000 hryvnias in savings. Did you use that money to purchase the car, or a portion of that money?
Використовувала,
Yes,
щоб
I
подати
did
машину,
use
відповідно, після
this
того,
sum to buy the car and then to repair it.
So we asked you for records regarding your repairs, and you gave us only one repair that occurred within 1 year of when you purchased the car. That was for 2,462 hryvnias in April of 2017, about a month or a little less than a month after you purchased the car. Did you have other expenses when closer to when you purchased the car?
так постійно були витрати.
Yes, there were regular expenses for repairs. I provided the proof that I have. I went to the technical service station several times, and they said that they have documents confirming the repairs for the last 5 years. So they provided me the confirmation, and I referred them to you, the documents for the last 5 years, but they do not have any documents confirming repairs for the previous periods, so I couldn't provide it. I gave everything I had at home, everything I provided to you. I also spent other funds for the repairs, but I didn't have the documents to confirm it because a lot of time has passed and I do not have any confirmation from the station.
But when you responded to our most recent questions, you said the car was used, needed repairs, could run but not far, needed significant repairs. What did you mean it could run but not far? What does that mean?
Фактично зразу я купляла машину.
Well, I bought the car together with my brother. Before that, he had a vehicle and he understood how to use it and what kind of model it was. So we were buying it together and he helped me to repair the vehicle. We went to the service station and we got the vehicle repaired.
What was wrong with it? I mean, what was the major repair at that time?
Ремонту потребувала ходова частина
Well, the core part of the vehicle, there were a lot of scratches, damages, everything was explained to me at the service station.
Well, I mean, scratches would not prevent the car from running very far, would it?
Я згідна, це не тільки пошкодження, це
I agree. So there were more serious troubles with the chassis, and it required repairs, and I got the vehicle repaired at the service station.
Okay, I don't understand. I couldn't understand what you said was wrong with the car. I'm trying to figure out what was wrong with the car when you bought it that would justify the low price. And so far, you've told me there were some scratches. What else was wrong with the car other than some scratches?
Ні, великі значні ушкодження.
There were significant problems with the car. When I bought it together with my brother, he recommended this vehicle, saying that the cost is low, but I could repair the chassis, and so we bought the car, and he explained that everything could be repaired, so we decided to buy it. I, as a woman, didn't understand what exactly was wrong, but together with my brother, we went to the service station, and the workers explained everything, and they explained that it required significant repairs, but after some time it was possible to repair everything, and I agreed to that.
You don't know if it was the transmission or the engine or what was wrong with the car?
З двигуном незначна проблема була. З двигуном тільки як ми
There were no significant issues with the engine. The technician, after looking at the vehicle, he explained that the liquid was running from the engine, and he looked into it and stated that the liquid was dropping from the engine, and the technician working on it said that he could help and repair all the parts so that the engine works fine.
And you said your brother purchased the car with you. Was he an owner of the car, or he was just helping you pick out a car and get it repaired?
Ні, він якраз обирати.
No, he just helped me to choose. I'm the owner, and I formalized the sales agreement, and I got everything registered at the service center, and the technicians were examining the vehicle. The brother just recommended the vehicle, explaining that we could buy it at a lower price and then repair. That's why I bought it and then started repairing. My brother was and is not an owner. I am the owner. He helped me to choose the vehicle. Before, he had a vehicle, and he could understand how to choose, and I didn't understand what kind of engine there was and what had to be replaced. He helped me to repair everything and to maintain the vehicle.
So I want to talk to you about your PhD thesis. From October 2016 to September 20 of 2020, you attended, and I may pronounce this wrong, Vasil Stefania Precarpathian National University in order to obtain your PhD. Is that correct?
Yes, right. I studied at this national university named after Vasil Stefanik since October 2016 till September 2020.
That was near your residence, correct?
Right, correct.
And there came a time that, well, your supervisor for your academic supervisor was Nadia Kobetska, correct?
Yes, it's right. She was my academic supervisor.
And at some point in time, you changed academic supervisors to a professor from a different university, Yaroslav Mudry University, if my pronunciation is correct.
Так, дійсно було так.
Yes, it's true. I changed the academic supervisor and I defended my dissertation in the National Law University named after Yaroslav Mudry. There was an order to change the scientific academic supervisor. That's right.
And why did you decide to change academic supervisors?
Тому що не було
Because it was impossible to gather a scientific council to defend my dissertation at the Prikarpattia National University named after Vasil Stefanik. It was due to the fact that there were no scientists, reviewers who would be specialized in my topic. And so I went, I applied to defend my dissertation in a different educational institution, and a different academic supervisor was appointed.
And that new university was about 1,000 kilometers from your home?
Так, вірно.
Yes,
And
right.
go ahead. Did you request the change, or did your first university require the change?
Ні, не вимагав. Це було
No,
за
there was no requirement. It was upon a my request. It was something done voluntarily according to the requirements of the law. I filed a request and it was agreed on with my previous academic supervisor. So the previous academic supervisor didn't have any objections as to the change of academic supervisor to finalize the dissertation. And we agreed on this change and everything was confirmed with the documents, and so there was an order to allow the change of academic supervisor.
And who from your first university told you that they didn't have the ability to continue with your thesis and PhD because of the subject that you were pursuing?
Займається це відділ аспірантури щодо
The PhD department does it.
Відділ аспірантури займається
The department within the university. I submitted.
університету, що така ситуація.
I got issued a notice from the leadership of the university that I had to continue writing my dissertation in a different institution.
And have you provided that to us?
Заяву не вимагали.
No, it was not required,
Вона є.
but I have it.
Цю заяву щодо зміни.
I have this document, but I was never asked to provide it. But I do have it, and I can share it with you and all the members of the High Qualification Commission of Judges and the Public Council of International Experts. I can provide it.
Does that document indicate why they wanted you to change universities?
Так, вказана
Yes.
причина, така, яка
Yes, the reason is specified,
відповідно,
and
яку я тільки що сказала.
just as I said.
What was the reason that they indicated in that document?
В зв'язку з тим, що неможливо
Due to the
створити
fact that it's impossible to establish a specialized scientific council or the defense of this specific dissertation, because in that specific educational institutions there are no scientists who have publications, who have previously published the works on the relevant topic.
And at the time that you changed academic supervisors, had you completed your dissertation research?
фактично основне було,
Basically, the main part was written, but to finalize the dissertation, I had to work more with my second academic supervisor.
So according to applicable legislation that was in force when you studied your PhD program, the Higher Education Institute, where the dissertation was written, conducts a preliminary examination of the dissertation and makes a conclusion about the academic and practical value of its results. This conclusion is then issued to the applicant. Did you receive such a conclusion from the Prokopfian National University, your first university?
Yes.
And what did that document say?
що заслуговує у зв'язку з новизною,
That
заслуговує для захисту.
because of the novelty of the research, it can be further suggested for defense stage.
And have you provided that document to us?
Ні, не вимагали цього документу.
No, I was not asked to provide it.
Do you have it?
Всі наявні документи є.
I do have everything. I have it on me.
Can you show it to me?
Як можна?
And do you also have the other document that you spoke about?
Можна. От це щодо, прошу, будь ласка.
Thank you. Do you also have the other document that we spoke about?
Будь ласка. Це щодо виконання.
Regarding the implementation.
Okay, well, thank you for those documents. I, of course, can't read them because they're in Ukrainian, but our secretariat is reading through it. Let me ask you one last line of question. In your integrity declaration, you asked the question, or rather you gave the response, I did not commit any acts that could result in me being held liable. And that relates to actions that themselves may constitute an offense. And in 2020, you were cited with an administrative offense. Is that correct?
Ні, не притягувалася.
No, I was not. No administrative penalty was imposed on me.
So tell me about what happened. Did you receive something from a police officer?
Так, отримала постанову.
Yes, I received a ruling from them, but then I appealed it in order to challenge it.
Я сама за моєю заявою
And then
повернула позов, відкликала
I
позов,
returned
оскільки
my
ця постанова
claim,
вже була
revoked my claim,
органом, який виніс
because
постанову, була скасована.
that body that issued the ruling had been cancelled by that time.
What was the original offense that you were charged with?
Йшлося про порушення
It was
поворот
about turn to the left.
Вказано, що були знаки відповідні, які не дозволяли.
There was a sign that banned me from turning to the left, but I did.
Все.
And that's
after
it.
you received, okay, after you received that, did you request the head of the Department of National Police to quash the decision?
Щоб спростувати. Я після постанови,
So,
отримання постанови, через
After I received the ruling, in a couple of days, I
прийняття мені матеріалів для ознайомлення.
requested the materials of the case because immediately I said that I disagreed with the ruling. So I asked for the materials of the case. They asked me for what purpose, and then I made an application stating that I did not make any commit any offense, and that the ruling was unjustified and unlawful. And then I made my claim, filed my claim to the court, and I wanted the materials to attach them to my claim. My claim was registered, and then they told me that I would get a notification later. That is, my application was registered. Later, I turned to the court, and I learned that the ruling had been cancelled because the body that had issued the ruling ceased to exist. And then I revoked my claim, and my claim was returned to me because the ruling had been cancelled.
І звернулася на той момент. У мене ніяких відомостей не було щодо мого звернення. Відповідно, що я не пропустила цей строк, який...
Meanwhile, I was awaiting for the notification from the National Police. I had 10 days to turn to the court, which I did.
Okay, and what was the name of the body that was recently revoked?
Це інспектор патрульної поліції.
It was the patrol police inspector.
So I don't understand. What does that mean that that body was recently revoked? It means he wasn't working anymore, or I don't understand what that means.
Ні, ніхто не припинив існувати. Винесена була постанова.
So the inspector made the ruling, and the chief of the patrol police cancelled his ruling.
And do you know why the chief canceled the ruling?
Повідомили в зв'язку з
As they informed me,
порушенням,
because
казали, що у зв'язку з порушенням, у зв'язку, що не було доказів, у зв'язку з
because
тим,
of
що не було
violations
складу
of the
правопорушення,
procedure, there was
і в
no
зв'язку з
administrative offense there,
повідомили, що скасували
was
постанову.
no proof, and this is why they canceled the ruling.
So there was a violation of procedure. What procedure was violated?
У зв'язку з тим, що не було складу правопорушень.
There was no administrative offense referred to in the ruling.
Doesn't say a PhD. Thesis is compliant. Yes, sir. What? Okay, so don't go anywhere. The document you provided does not indicate that your thesis was compliant. Is this, okay. So what was the decision of the faculty of the your first university, Carpathian, on your thesis? The preliminary examination of it.
Попередня перевірка здійснювалася
So the preliminary check was done at the Yaroslav Mudry National Law University. I defended my thesis there. Василь Стефаник Прикарпаття National University is my alma mater. I was a postgraduate student there. But I defended my thesis at the Yaroslav Mudry National Law University. All the stages of the defense, they checked my thesis in terms of novelty, academic novelty.
Did the Prokopfian University make a finding that your thesis was not recommended for approval?
Prikarpathian National University. During my studies there, I did not complete my thesis. And when I finished it, I submitted it to the Yaroslav Mudry National Law University. And with regards to Prikarpathian National University, for 4 years I was writing my thesis, but I did not finish it there.
Did they ever tell you that your thesis or what you had provided to them would not be recommended for approval?
Тому що робота повністю була не готова.
Because the thesis was incomplete, they recommended that I finish it. The Prikarpathian National University recommended that I finish it. And after that, it would be recommended for defense. As long as scientific board could be summoned within the university.
It's a simple question. Is your testimony then that they never indicated to you that your thesis would be recommended for approval? Yes or no?
повідомляв, оскільки вона ще повністю була
University informed me of this because the thesis was incomplete. They notified me and recommended that I finish it.
Okay, thank you. I see my time is up. I have no further questions at this time.
Thank you, John. You were over time. Let me see.
Only
Which
2
guy?
minutes and 4
Very-
seconds.
Back to you, Chair.
Дякую. Михайло
Thank you.
Богданович, можливо, маєте комісію.
Mikhailo, do you have any questions to the candidate?
Членами громадської ради міжнародних експертів поставлено
PCIe members
більшість тих питань.
have asked the majority of questions that I planned to ask you. However, some questions are still pending. Natalia,
Ви розумієте, що предметом оцінки
are you aware of the fact that
є в тому числі відповідність
qualification
до
test includes the compliance
є відповідність кандидата вимогам закону про антикорупційність
with the law
критерії до причетності
on the judges of the High Anti-Corruption Court?
на цьому етапі підлягає оцінці.
At this stage, we are checking this too. So one of the integrity components is honesty. So please be thorough in your answers, as we were thorough while studying your dossier. And we would like to learn the essence of the situation, understand the essence of the situation, because your answers have been rather controversial. So regarding your postgraduate studies at the Precarpathian University, could you give me the terms? Just the terms. From September 30, 2016, sorry, October 1st, 2016 to September 30, 2020. This is the period of your postgraduate studies, correct? Correct. And normally, how long is this period? 4 years. So you finished your postgraduate studies. Yes, I did. Did you submit a postgraduate report? Yes, I did it regularly, annually. We have an annual postgraduate report. Have these reports been adopted with certain observations, or have negative conclusions been made on your report? No. Each year, my report was confirmed and received positive conclusion. Does the university have the proof of it? Yes, they do have all the documents. They always provided me with positive conclusions, and I went through the whole scope of postgraduate studies, and I had plan of curriculum. Well, the scientific work that you had during your postgraduate studies, by the time you graduated, at which stage was your thesis? 90%. And throughout which time a postgraduate student is supposed to finish their thesis? Back then, when I studied, within 2 years after graduation, I could defend my thesis. The thesis could be finished by the time of graduation, before the postgraduate report is adopted. So by the time the report was adopted, the work was not finished. Were there any observations in the report regarding the incomplete status of your thesis? Observations Yeah, there were observations that I need to finish the thesis. Before I asked you whether there were any negative conclusions after on your reports. You said no, but how do you approach this? So how should I evaluate your statements in terms of reliability and veracity? I said, provided you veracious facts, I almost finished my thesis by the time I graduated, and under the law, I finished my thesis within 2 years after graduation. Okay, so to summarize, by the time you graduated, you finished your postgraduate studies, were you supposed to finish your thesis? I provided my thesis to the department, the 90% of it. They told me that I needed to finish it. And I was compliant with the criteria of graduation. Did you fulfill your plan of studies 100%? Yes, I did. Did your scientific advisor, supervisor provide a feedback on your work? So my supervisor's conclusion was made. He described the process of our work, and he also provided his feedback before the defense. So the defense happened in a different university. I'm talking about the one where you did your postgraduate studies. Yes, that's right. Did your scientific supervisor prepare feedback? No. Did he prepare such a report of the previous scientific supervisor? Did he prepare his report? He also said that I needed to finish the thesis. So, do you think this report contained negative evaluation work? No, I don't think so. It was just indicated to finish the thesis, some parts of it. Did it say like it? Yeah, it said that I needed to finish my thesis. Do you not think that this is a negative feedback? No, I don't think so. I read that feedback and I appreciated the fact that I needed to finish my thesis, and I took it into consideration. I did finish my thesis later on, and in that I was helped by a new scientific supervisor, and I submitted my work for defense. So the conclusion, that we're talking to, that was done in the Prikirpathian National University, was it a barrier for defense in Yaroslav Mudry National Law University in Kharkiv? No, it wasn't. So you were admitted to defense, and the change of place of defense, the reasons for it were the absence of the scientific board or some other grounds. No other grounds except the absence of scientific board. Thank you. Then that is it regarding this block of questions. Colleagues, you also can add yours. Regarding the following block, regarding the car, purchase of a car. It is logical that we are concerned with the amount. You are saying that the amount is similar to the analogous vehicles, and you are doubting that those vehicles could be sold 10 times
Кожен автомобіль по-різному
more expensive.
статистичні дані, однак
Well, of course, there are statistical data, but that vehicle was in need of repairs, and I provided you documents regarding repairs. But do you understand where this observation comes from? Even if we take this situation very simplistically, the weight of the car is 1 ton, 200, 300 kilos. So if we multiply this weight by the value of 1 kilogram of black metals, someone could have sold it just for to obtain metal, and the seller is not particularly interested, could not be particularly interested in selling you this car for that low amount. They could have sold it for scrap metal. Well, I have spent a considerable amount of money for repairs. It may have been a bad decision. So it's really dubious, and I wish we could ask questions to the seller. But you, as a customer, why are you interested in buying a very problematic vehicle? And I also noticed that you resided permanently in the village Ugrinev. Is this correct? Village Ugrinev village. Yes, after you were transferred. It's about 70 to 80 kilometers one-way trip from the place of residence to the place of work. And a vehicle having technical shortcomings, do you think it's reliable in such long trips? And how did you go to work when the vehicle was still undergoing repairs? I used public transport, and I using public transport to this day. I do not always use my vehicle. And you didn't lease any apartment? No, I didn't. And then regarding the ruling, this is a final question. So I checked the register of court decisions. There is no information about that situation. There is only court decision regarding your claim, but your claim was revoked because you appealed the ruling in the order of administrative rules of procedure, and the ruling was cancelled by the chief of patrol police. Could you explain, please, very briefly? You tried to explain what the administrative offense was. So you violated the prohibition, traffic prohibition. Yes, but my claim was returned. You violated the traffic prohibition to turn to the left. Was it an offense? But I didn't violate anything. I turned to the left. A ruling was made. There was no signs prohibiting that, and this is why I turned to the left. Where was it? In Ivano-Frankivsk. What was the traffic situation there? How was it specific? that made the inspector make a mistake, in your opinion?
Не було.
There were
Там
no
дозволялось,
prohibiting
можна
signs
було.
there.
Відповідно, я повернула
I
вправо.
could turn to the left, so I did it.
Як ви переконали у скарзі
How did you
керівника
persuade the chief
Я
of the
нікого не
patrol police?
переконувала через це.
I did not persuade anyone. I just turned to the court. I filed a claim to the court to have the court handle that ruling, because I believed that I was innocent and I exercised my right as any citizen of Ukraine, and I filed a claim. Did you file an administrative complaint? Maybe I misunderstood it, because you challenged the ruling in the administrative following administrative rules of procedure. Was it agreed with the chief of patrol police? Well, I turned to the police district, police department, to obtain the materials in order to later attach them to my claim to the court. I said that I disagreed with the ruling. It was unlawful, in my opinion. The national police registered my application. They promised that I would get a notification later. I received none. So without your written application, the chief of the police canceled the ruling based on a oral application. No, I registered an application to get familiar with the materials. Regarding the challenging the ruling, did you turn to the police in order to challenge the ruling? They just registered my application. Could you please respond the answers clearly and accurately? You're a judge, aren't you? No, I didn't do it separately. This is why I turned to the court. So because you didn't challenge it separately, at the time the court canceled returned the claim, the chief of police had canceled the application. Thank you. No other questions at this time. Colleagues, any other questions? Natalia, good afternoon. Just one question. You were asked about your circumstances of your defense and the grounds for you to change the place of defense. You said that it was impossible to set up a scientific board at the Prikарpathian University. Yes, I've got a document. Yeah, I've seen it. Have you heard of National Repository of Scientific Tests? It is possible to filter texts by the higher education establishment. In 2021, on June 6th, at that university, there was a defense by your specialty. How can we claim that defense was impossible there?
6 months before your defense, it was in January, on the 19th of January 2022. From what I can see in the National Repository, I can see a dissertation defended on the topic of organizational and legal mechanism of functioning of national parks. As far as I understand, that's your specialty. Yes, it's 08102. I understand it, but it's Department of Environmental Law, right? I studied as a PhD student, but the department was not assigned. Nevertheless, I understand that it's the same area with the same specialists that correspond to your topic of dissertation. Yes. So how can you explain that the legal regime of objects defined as medicinal? When did you finish in 2020? I'm just saying that June 2021 must have been an interesting period for you because it's in the mid of end 2020 and beginning of 2022. It means that at that point you must have finished your dissertation. Also, you followed the due procedure at the department, and the opponents and reviewers were signed. I'm not sure. I just inserted the information into the repository, and so I used this method to filter and get the information. So at that point, when I was studying, that's what I was told. I submitted the documents, and after the end, I had 2 more years to defend the dissertation. I'm not objecting, you just expressed a statement, and then I looked through the dates. It was impossible to establish academic council, but the reviewers are selected by area. If there were reviewers on your specific topic, you wouldn't need to write work on that specific topic. The reviewers need to be from the same area. Yes, thank you. All right, dear colleagues, we have 5 minutes and we'll have to wrap up. Any other questions? Natalia, to follow up, Mikhailo's question about how you managed to convince the head of patrol police that you didn't commit any violations. This question was phrased exactly like that because the inspector issued the document at the place of violation, as far as I remember. So at the place, the inspector was there, and you couldn't prove that the sign wasn't there, and his chief, his head, while not being at the same location, could establish that the sign was not there. It looks contradictory, doesn't it? No, that you couldn't prove to the inspector at that same location that the sign wasn't there, but his chair, his head, his supervisor in an office, not being at the location, was sure that the sign was not there. If you are located somewhere, you could see what's around. How does it correlate? That's why I applied to the court. It was an obvious violation. That's why I wanted the court to establish. But the inspector, was he unable to see what was there at the location? There was a sign, but not at that same place where I was turning, a bit further. All right, thank you. So the sign was there. Before you said that the sign wasn't there. No, the sign was not exactly at that place where I was turning to left. All right, it was further. Another question. Is it a usual practice in Ivano-Frankivsk when, just like in your case, rulings are cancelled not upon the registered applications, but only upon applications to get the materials from the court? Is it a usual practice? The bodies, is it a usual practice, or weren't you interested in it? No, sometimes when I consider cases, I'm not asking you about your experience, what's happening. Sometimes I am asking whether this is a usual practice. I know, for example, about the consideration of cases. Thank you. You are telling me the theory. I was asking about your specific case. Thank you. the answer was provided.
Колеги,
Dear
можливо,
colleagues,
ще одне запитання? Немає.
is there another question?
Ярослав
No?
Михайлович.
Yaroslav Mikhailovich? Yes, I would like to ask, do you recall your practical assignments you had to do within this competition? Yes. There was an assignment related to the appeal. You clearly established the period when you have to start calculating the period when the accused was started serving his sentence. Do you remember the specifics of home arrest? Do you remember the motivation not to take into account that period during which the home arrest was applied? What was your motivation not to take into account that preventive measure in the verdict? The person was not in detention. We have to take this into account, but the period is calculated from the moment of the beginning of placement into custody. Dear colleagues, the interview is coming to a close. No other questions, and you get 1 minute to inform the Commission of some things that the Commission has to know. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, every member of the High Qualification Commission of Judges and the Public Council of International Experts.
Міжнародної ради експертів, вибачаюсь, громадської ради міжнародних експертів.
The Public Council of International Experts. Thank you for objective questions. I am ready to assume responsibility established by the state, and it's up to you to decide. It's a competition where the best of the best are selected. It's up to you to decide. Thank you. Thank you for participation in the interview and in the competitive selection. The interview is over. And